Police in Greater Victoria, British Columbia have interviewed hundreds of people, followed up on nearly 1,000 leads. But who carried out the savage stabbing death of Lindsay Buziak remains a mystery.
It's been too long. It's been 9 years since my sister was murdered.
Do you think that the cops have done a good enough job of looking into that?
Somebody viciously executed my daughter and walked out of that house and have not been caught to this day. So whenever I'm asked, do I think they're doing a good job? No. As great as they are, and as much as I like some of them, and I think they're working very hard, they're not doing a good job.
And to that, police say
criticism about it not being solved is completely warranted. We have not just spent resources. At one point in time, we had up to 40 people working on this investigation, but we've spent millions of dollars as well. But at the end of the day, it's still not solved. So the criticism is valid.
But one thing Sergeant Chris Horsley says the murder of Lindsay Buziak is not.
Is this technically a cold case?
No, not at all. This case is still assigned. We still have detectives that follow up tasks and leads. We had some media coverage just recently, which resulted in more tips coming in.
In the immediate aftermath of the murder, police focused their efforts on identifying the couple that set up the open house where Lindsay was killed.
We do know from the forensic evidence that both the man and the female did go through the home. We do have evidence of them leaving the home. However, we don't have anything in the form of DNA or fingerprints which would lead to a suspect identification.
In fact, almost all they have in the way of ID comes from an eyewitness who described a tall Caucasian man and a woman with shoulder-length blonde hair and a uniquely colored dress.
We think we may have even found the exact brand of dress. It wasn't a designer high-end name brand, unfortunately. It was something that could commonly be bought here in a department store. So unfortunately, the dress lead didn't pan out for us.
But then one of the things making it so hard to find the couple or any suspects at all is the fact that no one can definitely say why anyone would want Lindsay dead in the first place.
She does not personally appear to have any enemies, so what is the motive for the killing?
Police do have some strong theories, though. One of them tied to a trip Lindsay made to Calgary just 6 weeks before her murder.
This is in December. And the murder was in February.
Apparently, while Lindsay was in Calgary, she reached out to an old acquaintance from Victoria, once by phone and another time through Facebook.
We don't know the nature of the call. We don't know why she called him. We don't know why she was on his Facebook site.
What they do know is that the person she contacted was the relative of a man named Erickson Delalcazar, and that shortly after Lindsay went back to Victoria, Delalcazar, along with 13 other people, were all caught in the biggest drug bust in the history of the province.
What we can say is that people lost a lot of money. And the people that lost the drugs know that someone spoke to the police. A witch hunt occurred where people were being questioned. People were being pulled out of their beds in the middle of the night and asked, who have you spoken to? Because they know that someone spoke to the police.
Someone like Lindsay?
So you're saying that someone within this drug gang pointed the finger at Lindsay as the informant, and that could be why she was killed?
Yes, that's one of the working theories. Lindsay Buziak was the target of this murder, but it may have been a target of opportunity. They needed to solve a problem, and she was the solution.
But then, why would Lindsay be so well known to people in the drug trade to begin with?
Victoria, everybody knows everybody. It's that simple.
So is that the theory you believe? Which is the one you believe?
I do, but if you really ask the police, this is a complicated murder. It has many twists and turns. There are killers and there are conspirators. The killers were the mechanics in our murder. They weren't necessarily knew her.
And just who does Jeff really think hired those mechanics? He's not saying outright, but on his website, lindsaybuziakmurder.com, Jeff and others regularly share their theories, often calling out individuals by name and demanding they step forward.
I get threatened probably weekly with lawsuits, but I haven't seen one yet.
Who's threatening you and why?
The people that probably have information about my daughter's murder or who won't step forward publicly and try and help.
Is it possible that they don't have the answers that you seek and you want those answers so desperately?
It's quite possible, but the people I run into that don't have answers, they just tell me that. They don't get aggressive. We just have a discussion.
Either way, Jeff's efforts do often put him at odds with authorities.
And really what it's become is a modern day witch hunt. And it's just an internet witch hunt. So it's an ongoing issue, and whether it affects the potential trial down the road, I don't know. I've had those discussions with Mr. Buziak because it is potential that it could impact our successful prosecution.
But Jeff and his family vow to keep up the fight.
That's my duty as a father. Do you know, Anna, that 100% of the parents I ask, male or female, the direct question, what would you do if somebody killed one of your children? Anna, I get 2 answers, 100% from those people. They either say one of 2 things, and excuse my language. I'd kill them, or I'd kill them. I'm capable of that, Anna. All humans are. But I believe the people who made the decision to kill her are cowards. Cowards need to be caught. And these people have to know that. They're not going to get away with murdering Lindsay Buziak.
And on that much, Lindsay's loved ones and police can agree.
This is a solvable case, and we are confident that Lindsay's murder can be solved.
You are a father who has lost his daughter. What is it that you miss most about Lindsay?
Anna, that question is such a tough one to answer. I miss Lindsay. I miss my baby. I miss my little girl. I miss having her in my life. We don't have our Lindsay anymore.
Both Lindsay's father and investigators are convinced they will solve this case. They just need that one piece of evidence that ties everything together. Until they get that, they continue to ask the public for tips. If you know anything about Lindsay's death, you can submit that information at crimewatchdaily.com.